with another message to help you free your heart and soul. Today we're going to be talking about sovereign motherhood and how Lilith, the archetype of the goddess Lilith in astrology, in the Bible, and in the vibrational energy of this realm, plays out in the realities, the experiences, and the bodies of women today, and how women can sometimes get caught up in certain belief systems, programs, emotions around motherhood that hold them back from realizing who they actually are as a primordial and original woman, and not the woman that is a product of society's conditioning and banishment of the dark feminine, of the primordial Lilith, of the original frequency of the earth. So today that's what we're going to be talking about, and I want to let everyone know, if you have subscribed to the Lilith Code 4-day mini course, I have corrected an error that was previously on the landing page sequence. So when you would opt in, some of you did not receive an email or haven't received any emails. There was a technical issue, and so that is resolved, and you should be receiving your 4-day freebie like within the next 24 hours. And for all of the new people that subscribe to the Lilith Code free 4-day mini course, it'll just go through, and you should receive your email. It might come through to your spam box, so make sure you check your spam. But basically, that was the technical issue, so I do apologize for that. And all of that is resolved now, so no worries. um, so yeah, let's just kind of get right into this video. And you guys can see my 14K gold zodiac necklace. Whoop. Whoop. See that? Can't wait till I get my new phone. Oh, it's gonna be so great. It's gonna get all the details. But I have my 14K gold Taurus zodiac necklace on right now. It is my rising sign is Taurus, and in Vedic it's Aries. So I'm wearing my rising sign zodiac right now, and I sometimes wear all 3 signs or whatever sign that I want to embody the energy of. And that's just the benefit of, wearing the symbol of your sign. So if you're interested in getting your necklace, make sure you go to my online spiritual wellness store, To Be Green Co. The link is in the description. And without further ado, let's get into this video. And I might need some water, honestly, before I start talking about this, because I know that I'm gonna be talking for I'm gonna be going in. I'm gonna be talking for a while because there's so much around this subject. And what I can tell you from my personal experience is, when I became a mother, when I became a mother, I felt the dogmas, the stigmas, the positioning, the very hard up positioning of how people want to not allow a woman to be free in her creative power. And what the reason why, when you come into motherhood, why this feeling tends to magnify whatever was already there, right? So if you already had some things going on that were blocking your full feminine embodiment, then once you become a mother, all of those things are just going to magnify themselves, because becoming a mother and stepping into motherhood is power, right? You have created a life, and this life loves you specifically. It comes out of the womb loving you, wanting to be close to you, wanting everything. Like, you are literally the life source of this new person. And you have the capacity to influence this person to become who they really are in life and empower them in ways that nobody else really can, right? And so the gift and the beauty and the power of stepping into motherhood is that you can create life, and this life comes through just automatically, like, worshiping you. And the the power in that is so great that the conditioning and the programs and the way women and the way people deal with babies and motherhood, the motherhood experience now, is so totally and completely detached from remembering that it is the woman that creates life. It is the woman that brings this baby's existence into fruition, right? It's the father that ushers in the baby, right? Because women women don't really go out like looking for sex. Like, we not like looking for sex. And even when we get in a relationship, it's like some women who are really 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 you know um in their, I would say, in their dark feminine energy, and really um wanting to use their sexual energy in that way, yeah, they're going to usher it in. But for the most part, it's the masculine that comes in and wants to procreate, right? And wants to spread his seed. Or in other words, it's the man who brings in the children. Like in my previous video when I talked about the dark masculine versus the light masculine, I let you guys know that it's the woman that creates and magnetizes the money. Well, in reverse, it is the masculine that ignites and sparks the child into existence. It's the woman that creates the child, but it is the masculine that ushers that child into existence. So this is basically the power that women have at their fingertips. It is the power to have and be the holder of life, the cradle of life, the cradle that brings life into fruition. And the conditioning that comes around that is grave. There's grave conditioning, and the conditioning can come up in so many ways. When I had my daughter, when I first had my daughter, the first thing that I noticed, right, in my experience of pregnancy is that it was like I couldn't make any decision. I couldn't make any real decision of authority around what I wanted to do um, with my body and with my child without somebody popping in telling me, that I should do this or that I should do that. Or, maybe a woman wants to give birth in naturally, and she doesn't want to go to the hospital. Okay, like, she should be able to do that without other people's fearful mindset coming in and saying, oh, you can't do that. Oh, what if this happens? Oh, what if that happens? We want to be safe. And this is where that Saturn energy of the father, this predatory patriarchal energy that wants, like, right, is telling you these things under the guise of, this is good for you. You should do this because you want to stay contained and you want to stay safe. When really these things are keeping you from being what you were created to be, which is wild, which is primal, which is discovering and explorative and not fearful. You're not fearful. You're open and you're receiving. So, if you're having these thoughts like, oh, I want to give birth this way, like, just in the process of who you want to be in the birthing room, who you want to be present, for the birth, whether or not you want to stay in the father's life, or if you don't want to stay in the father's life, whatever. There's so much you should do this and you should do that around that conversation. And people always want to detach the child from the mother when it comes to pregnancy and motherhood, right? As soon as you give birth, the normal practices in hospitals and and this is starting to change, honestly, but the normal practices is, as soon as you give birth, they take the baby, they start cleaning the baby, they start wiping the baby down, sucking stuff out of his nose. Like, it's a good, maybe minute, 10 seconds to a minute that the baby is just not even near you after you give birth. And then they give the baby to you after that. And then after they give the baby to you, they start shoving formula down your throat and all these things that to keep detaching you from your child, to detach you from your child, to detach you from your child. And just keep this repetitive, these small little things that we don't think is a big deal, right? We don't think it's a big deal to you know, breastfeed our child or not breastfeed our child. We don't think it's a big deal to, you know, be close to our child after we give birth. Like, they even, you know, encourage women to, not sleep with their babies, right? So when I gave birth to my baby, I was told that I couldn't sleep with her, that she had to be in this box that was like 5 feet away from me, because if I slept with her, I was going to potentially crush her or something. And let me tell you something. In my pregnancy, if my baby was so much as, if she could just hiccup, or she could just, I would wake up like immediately. So it was a little weird to me, because I was like, I slept with my child. Like, I held her in one position and would just sleep and then wake up in that same position. Like, she was fine. Now, I know that there are cases where people roll over their child like in their sleep. And that is, to me, again, a product of people being detached from their bodies, right? Their first mother. You're detached from your body. You're not in sync with your body and your body's senses, or your body's, um, alertness and astuteness. If you're a healthy person and you are alert in all of your senses and your mind and your body, because your mind really is your body, how are you gonna roll over your child? Like, you're not. You're gonna wake up. You're gonna be alert. You're gonna have that connection. Your spirit is gonna be connected deeply to your body. So there's so many ways that mama and child are just completely severed from the beginning, like energetically, spiritually, and physically. Just gradual, just pull mama and baby apart from each other, so that by the time we get to a certain stage, you know it's not we're just completely numb and blind to how important this actual connection and being completely one with mama and baby is. So, right, they condition and program and, you know, tell women that there's all of these different things about how you should be doing this and doing that with the father of the child. You should be doing this and doing that when you give birth to the child. And then after you give birth to the child, then there's all of this, you know, protocol, right? And so what I need you guys to understand is these protocols and these guidelines and these rules and this structure, right, created so that, you know, women can be safe or do the right thing in childhood and mother and their child's life and motherhood, are all based on an assumption that if she is allowed to be wild in her motherhood, in her parenting, if she is allowed to be sovereign in her motherhood and in her parenting, then she can potentially kill her child, or she can potentially get, you know, get rid of her child. Like it's almost like they think that women have this subconscious desire to not want their child or get rid of their child. And you can feel this energy, not just in, oh gosh, sorry y'all, I had a phone call. So, oh man, I gotta put my phone on do not disturb. Hold on, let me put my phone on do not disturb. Okay, all right, so my phone is on do not disturb now, and I can continue with this conversation. Someone said, I've been wondering if the primordial mother is actually all of the goddesses Lilith, Isis, Hathor, Tara. Like maybe every culture is referring to the same essence by different names. Yes, and the only feminine energy that I currently associate and identify with is Lilith, because I feel like it is put into all these different, you know, categories and things like that. But what is the most important energy right now in this era is not any of the other goddesses, but in my opinion, it's Lilith. And that's because what's happening and what's transpiring in society. Okay? The things that are coming up in society isn't calling for, to me, anyone other than this archetype and this energy. And it's a really deep reason why, because the serpent doesn't just represent, you know, Lilith. The serpent represents the literal creation of this realm. So we're getting down to business when I talk about Lilith. And, you know, the other energies and archetypes, you know, I feel like can cover a facet of different things. But this is what is needed right now. And that is why I talk about Lilith. And I don't talk about really any other archetype. So this is the energy that is in the consciousness of the modern day matrix and people who are afraid of really stepping into and stepping up to the primordial mother, the sovereignty that is and can be had within motherhood. It's because there is this insidious programming and message that's saying that women are not safe and they don't know how to raise their children without us, basically. And it's this false, it's so false, it's so false, it is so, it's such, you know, bull. Like, it is not true in any way or form. And what this ends up creating is in the mentality of people in general and men, they start to believe and subconsciously think that they need to control or contain the way that women raise. Okay, baby, I'm going to get your yogurt. Here, go in the living room and wait for me. I'm almost finished. You want the blueberry one?
No.
Okay, I'm coming.
I said I don't want to wait.
Oh, she's so demanding. Okay, 5 minutes. Can we wait 5 minutes? All right, y'all. I have a demanding daughter who is wanting yogurt right now. Okay, go ahead. Yogurt. Flippin' yogurt. So, I know, like, so cute, yet so demanding. She gets it from her mommy. So it's like, I don't know how to deal with the demands. I'm just like, what did I give birth to? A mini me. Okay, so we have this blueberry yogurt here. Blueberry coconut milk. That is a fork. Why you want to eat yogurt with a fork? You want to? It's okay if you do. I'm not judging. I am not judging. Okay. So this is the consciousness of the collective right now. And see, this is the thing, like, I take pride in being a mom and doing what I like to do and what I love to do and showing up as a mom in doing that. Because even in society, in our culture, it's like children have their own place, you know? Like, children have their own place in culture and in society. They're not allowed to go where adults go, okay? And they're not allowed to do what adults do. And to me, when I get around children, I feel so high, like I feel so happy, and I feel like, you know, especially if the child is like, you know, isn't being abused or anything, but still, even with children that you know, are maybe going through something, it's a light that, you know, this culture and society has drawn a very thick line between who we are as adults, okay? And when we talk about the word adult, like, what does that word even mean? I don't call myself an adult anymore, because what is an adult? What is an adult? An adulterer? Somebody who adults and does things that are adulting? You know, look up the definition of adulting. An adulterer. So why are we out here calling ourselves adults? Huh? Why? What does that even mean? So society has drawn a very thick line between where children are supposed to be, where they aren't supposed to be, when they should talk, when they shouldn't talk, how they should behave, how they shouldn't behave. And of course, you want your child to be respectful, you want your child to be loving, you want your child to be happy, right? Because that's ultimately what makes a good person in society. But all of these you know, rules and stipulations in place around where children should be and where children shouldn't be makes women who have the desire and purpose to thrive and do great things in their life a little bit intimidated. Because if I want to have children, I have to basically separate myself. I have to make myself out to believe that I don't have a life anymore. I pretty much have signed my life over to my children. I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. I can't really be anything other than a mother. I have to just focus solely on my children. And my children can't be a part of anything outside of what I like, anything that I do outside of who I am at home with my children. And this is especially true for women who work jobs and they go into the job industry, and most, you have somebody has to watch your child. Like, your children can't come, your children can't be there. They're a disturbance. Okay, they have to be controlled. Okay, and this is something that really intimidates women from stepping into their purpose, living life on their terms, and coming into their flowering, because they've come to associate showing up for themselves while having a child is something that they have to manage and something that they have to figure out and, you know, control. I do so many things with my daughter right there. And I don't, and the funny thing is, I don't go places that my child isn't allowed to go. So if somebody is wanting me to go somewhere, do something that children can't go to, now of course, if like I'm going out or something and the intention is for me to be by myself and I just want to have me time, that's different. But I want, for the most part, I made the decision and I knew that I wanted my daughter to be with me and I want my daughter to be raised by me. I'm not going to be checking in, letting somebody else raise my daughter and checking in, seeing if they're doing a good job. You know, she's going to know me as her mom. And that is something that today in our culture, and especially with, the rise in distortion of feminism, it is like just become normal for women to detach themselves from being a mother and including motherhood with all of who they are and everything that they do and everything that they create. And of course, I mean, if you're the kind of woman that wants to go out and work a job and have a lot of space with your children, then you're just the kind of mother who wants to have a lot of space with her children and probably would do better in other areas of motherhood. But just whatever you decide to do within motherhood, that should be okay, and that should be your choice. It should be a choice, and it should be a choice that is accepted, whatever choice that may be, whatever choice you choose, right? And this is where sovereignty comes in. This is where being free and sovereign in your motherhood comes in. And this is really where dark feminine energy plays out in motherhood, because nobody should be trying to tell you or intimidating you about how worthy you are to be who you are and show up for yourself as a mother. Whether you decide to have children while you're married, or you decide to have children and not be married. Whether you decide to, you know, whether you have children in your teens or you have children in your 50s or 60s or whatever you decide to do. Like, that's your choice, right? And the energy and this consciousness of, and I feel like I was talking about this earlier and I got a little bit sidetracked when Aleva asked for her blueberry yogurt, coconut milk blueberry yogurt. This consciousness of, you have to surveillance women around their children. And you have to watch women around their children because you never know. They might put their baby in the microwave. You know, you never know. They might do some crazy stuff and take it out on the kids. They're going to take it out on the kids, right? Why? Why would we do that? Why would we project and take energy out on our children? Where is that coming from? What is that being stimulated by? You know, and when we do come across scenarios where women literally are abusing their children, and you know, they do have mental health issues. Olivia, what are you doing? Okay. When they do have like mental health issues, is anybody asking the question of like why this woman is taking and projecting her anger out onto these children, right? Or are you just taking the whole conglomerate of this woman is crazy, and women when they are emotionally unstable, you have to watch them, or you have to, you know, and so it's almost like they've taken the product of their trauma, the matrix society, predatory masculinity. They've taken the product of their trauma expressed through women and use that as a reason to control her further and to say, you know, and feel like they have to surveillance the way that she mothers and her motherhood. Like, a man should not, you know, I hear stories about, you know, and this is really just in the very hood communities, and you know, the communities where it's just, you know, I don't even know the word for it, but trifling to say the least. Why do you have to check a woman about if she gave her child juice or not, or she fed her child whatever you think she should be feeding her child, right? Why do you feel like you need to check a woman for that? Like, she knows her child better than anybody knows her child. Why are you doing all of that, right? And this is what I'm telling you all, because I know there's some of y'all out there like, well, there really are some women who don't, you know, take care of their children or don't love their children. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you take the product of a woman's trauma around this system and you make it an excuse to continue to control and contain the essence of every woman in their motherhood, because you really are just trying to keep her energy from expanding. That's all that is. That's resistance to expansion. So women are not wired to want to hurt their children. And I don't know, you know, why we continue to accept this detachment or detaching of women from their children, and the powerful energy, the powerful essence that they have the ability to give to their offspring when they are healthy, when they are aligned, and when they are one in their feminine energy. And they exercise their dark feminine power in motherhood. Like, that's just the perfect time to do so. Because, like I said earlier, this is the area of your life where you have full jurisdiction. This is not a, you know, this is not a, you know, council, right? This is a dictatorship. What happens in motherhood, right? What I decide for my child, that's a dictatorship, and I will listen to your opinions, but you not controlling nothing here. You're not doing anything here. I am ushering this child into her flowering. And every woman should be granted the permission by herself, not by nobody else, but every woman should grant herself and be granted that permission to have that authority over how worthy she is in her energy when it comes to how she shows up with her being a mother and her having children, whether it's one child or 13 of them babies, like whether it's one or 13, okay? you 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 still get to decide who and how and what you are showing up as. And other people's perception and opinions, it does weigh heavy in today's day and age, because the reality and the timeline that is leaving and the new paradigm that is coming in of motherhood being sovereign, right? And so we're leaving this timeline of motherhood being something that is shameful and basically what I don't know what to call it, but almost like you signing your life away to slavery, becoming a mother, right? That women avoid it. Women avoid it today. Like, I do not want to get pregnant until this is together, that is together, this is together, that is together, and all the ducks is in a row, and everything is perfect. And then next thing you know, you 45, and nothing ever came together how you thought it did. But you still want children, but you still have this fear of having children because there's all these voices around you that has an opinion about bringing life into this world, and it's pathetic. Something so beautiful, something so divine, something so exquisite and unique is just, because the energy of the predatory masculinity and the system that creates these energy signatures still feels above and beyond most people. The easiest thing they feel like they can do is just control you and tell you how you should mother, tell you how you should, show up, and blah 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 blah. That's the easiest thing they feel like they can do. Because to challenge all the other stuff would mean that they would actually have to be sovereign themselves. And they would actually have to honor the dark feminine within themselves. And that's just too much work, right? Well, it's work that is being called out of everyone to step into. It's work that's being called out of the divine feminine to rise into. Knowing that you can show up, you can be a mom, you can breastfeed, you can live in your purpose, you can, receive in abundance from anywhere and in any way. There is no limitation that falls upon you when you enter into motherhood. It is only expansion, and the things that you begin to believe about yourself in respect to your motherhood and this new journey into motherhood will literally begin to shape who you are and how you flower from that. And this is honestly why I feel like when women come into motherhood, why a lot of women start to let themselves go. And, all of a sudden, like, she looked like this when she was young and free. But then when she became a slave to her children and a slave to society and a slave to her husband and whatever else, she looking like this. Worn out. And if she not worn out, she didn't gain weight. She didn't, prioritized everything under the sun, you know, other than herself and her body, you know, and this is not natural. This is what I'm here to tell y'all. It's not natural. I do not believe that it is natural for that to happen. And in our culture, we have, it's like we also satiate the emotional, um almost like emotional coddling, like, of the experiences, or I would say the you know how people are like, my mama sacrificed her life for me, she did this and that and this and that and this, and we like, we know that's what women are doing today. They are sacrificing their life like with pleasure, not just for you, but for the men that enter her life, for the people and society, and, you know, super superhero for everybody. And it's not that it's a bad thing to be a supreme being. It is wonderful to be a supreme being. But are you supremely honoring yourself in your supremacy and in your superpowers? Are you supremely connected to your body in that? Are you supremely living in your truth and allowing yourself to be a goddess? Are you just using the term goddess in Instagram quotes and, you know, whatever, wherever else you can use the term? Because it's one thing to call yourself a goddess. It's one thing to know that you are worthy, but it's another thing to embody that and require that from yourself and show up like you are valuable. And that if you are, you know, going to engage with life and be present and be seen and show up, then you need this, you need that, you need this. And it's not something where you're like needy, but it's something that you magnetize and you attract, because that is what you know you are worth, and that's what you know you are receiving in this life. So the primordial mother, right? The Lilith energy is an energy when activated and you are in your sovereign motherhood. You know and understand that, number one, it is mama's baby and papa's maybe. What do I mean by that? That means that that child has your flesh and your blood and your bones. That child has your genes, your genetic DNA. That child has your mitochondrial DNA. And what I know what they teach y'all in science. Okay, I had somebody call me. I don't know what happened, if I froze. I probably froze. I thought my phone was on do not disturb. I thought that would work, but obviously it didn't. But this is the synopsis of the primordial mother and the primordial energy in motherhood. You are the only being that can bring and sustain a baby, a child, into existence. So this is powerful. And there's a lot of people, men, whatever, who feel like they need to control you and check you when they don't see you doing things the way you're supposed to do. There's a lot of people who are going to try to insult you and, you know, tell you that you can't be a good mother or whatever, because you choose to be a mother in this way or in that way. And that is not none of your business, right? That is their resistance to their own sovereignty, their resistance to their own freeing themselves of their own conditioning and their own programming. And it is only asking you at this time to allow yourself to feel fully worthy and fully um, able and capable of living prosperously in that way that you desire yourself to live as a primordial mother, as a primordial woman. And to do things your way, and that's it. So, I have been on here for 45 minutes, and a lot of things came up. I'll probably do some more videos talking more about this topic. But if you have any questions or comments before I get off of here, please ask them now. Comment now. And from today going forward, you all have 21 days left. 21 days left to sign up for the Lilith Code one-on-one coaching program. And if you're interested in that, make sure that you sign up for the free 4-day Lilith Code mini course. The link is in my description, or message me on Instagram. And yeah, so you have 21 days. After 21 days, which is about 3 weeks, my doors will be officially closing, and the discount for the Lilith Code program also will be ending. So I know I said for Scorpio season, but I'm extending it because I'm just going to shut the doors in 21 days, and that's going to be that. So anyway, other than that, my birthday is tomorrow, and I think I heard somebody say something about Scorpios earlier. I don't know. And so yeah, I am turning 26 at midnight, and I don't know if I'm gonna like throw a party on YouTube or do something online for my online peoples who can't come and give me love in person. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, I am turning 26, and that's gonna be really exciting. So I don't know, maybe I might go live for a little bit on YouTube and just do like a countdown for my birthday. We'll see. I had somebody say, okay, Food Abroad says I'm so gorgeous. Thanks. Y'all Scorpios be so rude. Yeah. How long you been growing dreads? I've been growing dreads for, I think, 7 years, 4 or 5. I don't know. 2015. Always thought I would be married, but it didn't happen that way, and I don't care. I'm beautiful, educated, and spiritually divine. Motherhood is beautiful, period. Yeah, well, nowadays, if you want to get married, you have to really be strategic and, and intentional about being married. Because most people are like scared. Number one, they're scared to say what they want in relationships. They're scared to ask what they want for what they want, especially women. They're scared to ask for what they want in a relationship. They're scared to tell people, I want to be married. So if this isn't leading towards marriage, I'm just going to cut this off. Like, a lot of women don't do that. They be like, oh, let's see where it goes. It's not going to go anywhere if you don't basically, and this isn't, sometimes you don't have to do anything, right? You don't, because feels like he's invested in you. He feels like you're the one for him. He feels like some men, if men are already in that mind state of, I want to marry this woman, then you don't have to do all that. But most people and most men and women in society are like primed and conditioned to like stay in this let's play house and let's play together for years until we decide that it's time to tie the knot. And to me, that is not realistic. Like, that's not, it's like you're allowing yourself to have one foot in and one foot out of a relationship for so long. And it's like you can't do anything and create anything in life without having commitment. I can't have a business that grows and flourishes if I'm not committed to my business. I can't have a child that grows and flourishes if I'm not committed to my child. Right? And I can't, there's this goes for anything that you're in relationship with. So if you are a woman and you want marriage, then that is something that you are going to have to understand, as far as your dark feminine energy goes, uh, about how to strategically and energetically set yourself up to receiving somebody who wants to marry you and who wants to, be with you for the long haul. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys. I've been talking for an hour. I'm about to go and enjoy my birthday. I might see you guys later. I don't know. But if I do, if I don't, I still love y'all.